you are new here, my name is Sarah and I currently have a 20-month-old son and I am pregnant with baby number 2, which is a girl. I am due September 28th of this year and I'm currently 27 weeks. Today I'm going to be doing the stay-at-home mom tag, and I found a version of it that I really liked that had some interesting questions. So I decided to do that one. Before we get too far into it, I wanted to say that this was originally done by Emily Norris, so I'll link her channel below. I also wanted to tag a mom to do this stay-at-home mom tag next, and that is going to be Carrie from Olsen's Life. I'll put her channel below. She is a channel that I just recently found and I feel like we have a lot of similarities, so I really have been enjoying watching her videos, so I wanted to tag her to do this stay-at-home mom challenge tag next. So jumping right into it, I have all the questions on my phone and some of them are going to take a little more time to answer than others. But I thought that all of these questions were fun, interesting questions that I would like to talk to some other moms about. So I thought it might be interesting to hear my answers. So first question is, favorite mom hack or tip to make life easier? And my answer to this, I know a lot of people talk about this, but I'm just going to answer with this tip because it's one that I firsthand do use and I feel like it is really helpful, and that is to wake up earlier than your kids in the morning. And I know it's really hard because we a lot of times stay up late because we're trying to clean the house or organize things or just get our life back in order once they go to sleep. But I highly, highly, highly recommend going to sleep as early as you can. For me, I usually will stay up maybe an hour to 2 hours after my son goes to sleep, so I can get a few things done, I can wind down, I can do a few things for myself, but I'm not staying up really late at night because I really value that time in the morning, and sometimes it's only a half hour that I wake up before him, or sometimes I'll even wake up when I kind of hear him stirring. He's not really making many sounds, but I can tell he's like starting to wake up. Sometimes I even get up at that point, but I will hurry up and brush my teeth and maybe curl my hair or do something for myself really quick. And then when I go in and get him and he's starting to fully wake up, I just feel more like myself, more ready to take on the day. And I don't wait until he is like full on awake and yelling for me or crying to wake up and get out of bed. So that is my number one tip that has really helped me out on a daily basis, just feel more like myself and more productive. Most embarrassing mom moment, I don't have one that's like super crazy. I feel like my story is going to be like similar to a lot of moms, but recently I was at Once Upon a Child. I was returning some clothes and then I was also buying a few things. I had my son with me, and he generally, when we go into stores, when we go into grocery stores, he does a really good job. But for some reason this day he was just having a hard time and he didn't want to be in the cart. He did not want to sit still. He was just done. He wanted to leave the store and be done for the day. And I was checking out. I knew he was kind of getting to his wit's end, so I was trying to hurry up. And he actually was like climbing out of the cart. So I had to hold him. I'm pretty pregnant, trying to talk to the lady because she's like doing all of the return or the like credit that you get for turning in items and then also buying new items. And so she's doing all that, talking to me, asking me questions about my account and everything. And he is in my arms and he's literally like climbing over me. He's like doing flips in my arms, and he is 20 months and long and big and not a baby. So he's like literally doing gymnastics in my arms, and I'm trying not to have him like kick or like hurt my stomach, which is always a challenge. And I feel like I looked like the craziest person because I was trying to keep a straight face and like talk to the lady and just be like, everything's fine, everything's fine. But that was pretty ridiculous. I mean, I don't have a lot of those moments because usually I'll just throw him in the cart at Target or the grocery store and he's really good and he just hangs out. But that was out of control. He was like done, like could not sit there for another second. What part of the day do you love most? I would say right now I really love mornings, and it's because, first of all, like in the morning, especially if you're doing a few things for yourself before your kid wakes up, I feel like I always kind of miss him in the morning because like I went all night and usually at night when I'm laying in bed, I'm like, oh, we had a good day. Like, I miss him a little bit. And so when I wake up, I'm excited to go get him out of his crib. And then also he's just generally in a good mood. He's excited to go downstairs and have some breakfast. So I'll make him some breakfast, and then we'll either maybe watch a show or some YouTube videos, and we'll just kind of have that playing while we like talk and eat breakfast and hang out. So it's just like a very slow start to the morning. That's generally how we start our mornings. So I definitely love mornings. The next question, kind of going off of that, is what is your least favorite part of the day? And man, for me, dinner time, like before dinner time, during dinner time, that whole process of making dinner and waiting for Dad to get home is so hard, because he does not like me to be in the kitchen without him. He wants to be like climbing up my body, trying to see what's going on, does not want to play on his own. He's just like had a hard, long day. He's tired, he's hungry. And we're both kind of at the point where we're just like, we need Dad to come home, because he loves it when Dad comes home too. So that's just a hard part of the day, because I'm trying to make dinner. I'm trying to have, you know, everything ready when my husband comes home so we can just like eat right away, because we're all hungry. But it's always really hard. What's the worst thing someone said to you when you were pregnant? For me, no one has ever really made comments about my bump. I feel like because I have larger boobs, I have a small bump in comparison. Like, I don't look ginormous. At least I haven't in my last pregnancy, and so far in this pregnancy, I feel like it's not like in your face, and sometimes I feel like people don't even really notice that I'm pregnant, depending on the shirt that I'm wearing. But the one thing that I have got comments on that sometimes upsets me, during my first pregnancy, I was very, very swollen. So my face was a little swollen, but it was mostly my hands, my wrists, my ankles, my feet. It was really, really bad. I mean, pretty much my legs from the knee down were very swollen. And people would make comments about that, and they would say, wow, you definitely are swollen. Like, are you going to be okay? Like, what's going on? And the comments like that just always, like, one, make you concerned, because you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be okay. I mean, it was my first pregnancy, so I was like, I hope this is normal, but I don't know. And then also it's like, they're just noticing that, like, you look very big. Like, you look large, and your legs are large, and like, what's going on there? So those comments are never enjoyable. So the next one is baby name you didn't agree on. I think this is like a name that you liked that your husband didn't, or vice versa, that like one of you was like really excited about and you couldn't use it because you just couldn't agree. So we actually currently have one that I am really, really passionate about, and my husband is on the fence. So that's a whole nother story, and if that's going to be the name, then a reveal will be coming at some point. But there was one before that that I really liked, that I still like, but it wasn't as big of a deal to me, and that was Dorothy. And I just love that name so much. It just isn't used much, but it's just really sweet and classic, and it starts with a D, and so does my husband's name and my son's name, and I just thought it fit so well with our family. But my husband doesn't like it. He also doesn't like the nickname Dora, so that was a no-go. Do you co-sleep? I would have to say sometimes / we used to. When he was younger, a lot of times he would wake up in the middle of the night and we would just bring him into bed with us, and he didn't always get the best sleep, but at least he would be calm and he would just kind of lay next to us, and it would like soothe him. And then eventually, if he did fall into like a deep sleep, we might bring him back to his crib. But we definitely would bring him into bed with us a lot previously. Now he doesn't really wake up in the middle of the night ever, and it just never really is needed. But we did do that a lot before, and then definitely when we're traveling. Even now when I'm traveling, I have him in a pack and play, and he'll sleep most of the night, but he usually will wake up, especially with time changes. He'll wake up like a couple hours before I'm ready to wake up, and so I'll just bring him into bed with me and he'll sleep a little bit longer. So we haven't really had any problems with it. It's just kind of as needed. It's not like a normal thing we do on a daily basis. Something you bought but never used. So I watched a lot of people answer these tags, and I saw one mom already use this answer, but honestly, I feel like this is the one thing that like I genuinely just like never used, and I don't plan on using them for my second baby either, and that's baby mittens. So like to help your baby not scratch when they're like a newborn. My son definitely scratched himself, don't get me wrong, he did that a lot, but we just found that putting socks on their hand works a lot better, and it's like it's tighter, so it actually like grasps onto their hands and like doesn't come off as easy. You already have baby socks, so it's just way more convenient. So I just didn't see the point to them, and I didn't really like putting them on him anyway because they were just a little bit looser and they would fall off, and I just don't see the point, so I'm not gonna buy any for our second baby. 3 hospital bag must-haves. So the first one is gonna seem kind of weird and like not that important, but it's important to me, and that is bringing some type of shoes, especially like a shoe that you don't mind getting dirty or wet. And I think I might have done this, but I didn't take it seriously the first time. I don't even know if I really wore them much, and I was just so like out of it and like just trying to survive. If I go to the bathroom, it's like a big deal, and like I did not have like the thought process of like, oh, like let me put on some shoes and I'll walk to the bathroom. I was like, I don't even have time to think about that. But this time I definitely will, because my first pregnancy in the hospital, I ended up getting some type of like a foot wart or something. So a few weeks after I came home from the hospital, I ended up getting this wart on my foot, and I was like, it has to be from the hospital because I've never had one my entire life. And then I spent a few nights in a hospital walking around barefoot. I think that's probably where I got it. It was a planter's wart, I believe, and it was like in the middle of like the ball of my foot, and those things don't go away easy. Like I had to put so many things like band-aids and medicine on it, and it took probably 2 to 3 months to go away, and it was extremely painful. So I'm gonna do everything I can to not let that happen again. My second thing would be like simple snacks that don't need to be refrigerated, like bars, things like that you can throw in a bag, because if you're there for a couple days, it's just so much easier to have a few snacks there. Like, first of all, you're not gonna always want to eat the food that they provide for you at the hospital. I got real sick of that after like one meal. And you don't want people having to run out and get you food all the time. So if I had a few snacks there, it was just less that I had to worry about of like, well, how am I gonna get food if I need food, or I'm getting hungry, what are we gonna do? So just having some snacks in our bag was nice for me and my husband. And then the third thing I would say that like really made a difference, I guess, for me and my husband is bringing a blanket from home. And that might be for you as a comfort item, it might be for your husband because he has to sleep on a couch type thing and it's uncomfortable and he's gonna want something. Somebody's gonna be able to use that blanket, and it's just really nice when you have all of those hospital things that feel just like kind of itchy and not yours and smell weird, to have a blanket that's yours. So I recommend bringing, I mean, you could definitely bring blankets or swaddles for your baby, but I would bring a blanket for yourself, like an adult size one too. Am I a routine mom or go with the flow mom? I think anyone who knows me would say I'm a routine mom, but I would say I don't have a daily routine that we stick to every single day. I usually will either mentally or physically write out our routine or like our plan for the next day. And a lot of days it looks different because there's different things we have to get done, or we're going to the library for story time, or we're not that day, or we're going to the park, or there's all different activities that we do. And so it's just different, and whatever activity we're doing is going to slightly alter our time schedule. I try to have my son take his nap around the same time, but sometimes I push it up or back an hour. Sometimes he falls asleep in the car and that throws everything off. So I generally have a plan for the day when I wake up. It's just different most days because of certain things that are happening and things I need to get done. So yeah, I don't know if I'm like a routine mom. I guess I am. It's just not like a consistent routine. So the next question is, what type of labor did you have and what pain relief did you choose? So my first pregnancy ended in a C-section, so I never delivered vaginally. So pain relief, obviously. I had a spinal and that was necessary. I did try to get induced for about 12 hours, but my body just didn't respond because I had just turned 36 weeks like that day that we were trying to induce me, and my body was like, no, it's your first pregnancy. I was nowhere close to being able to be induced easily, and they did not want to wait a couple days to actually induce me because the situation, since I had preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome, it was progressing pretty quickly, and they just didn't think that that was a good choice to wait a few days. And I didn't either. I wasn't comfortable with that because I was scared. And honestly, at that point, I was just thinking, whatever is going to get the baby out, that's going to be good for the baby, and also like not make me so completely sick and unhealthy that I can't like take care of this baby when he comes. So that was the best option, and it worked out really well. So yeah, I mean, we kind of tried inducing, but it didn't go anywhere at all, so ended in a C-section. Have you ever been mom shamed? I think most people would say yes. I mean, it's very common to feel mom shamed. I don't know if I've had anyone really like to my face or even on social media say something to me that made me feel mom shame. I think the main source of that is all internal. It's all me making myself feel that way. And a lot of that came when I was working, because my sister was nannying my son, and so she would get to see all these things and talk about all these things, and I wanted to be there for him, but I knew like in that moment we couldn't financially make it work. And so I would always feel mom shame about that. And it's a hard balance. And I think as time went on, I started to feel a little bit better about that arrangement, because you can really make intentional time at night and in the morning with your child if you do want to work full time. I think that there's definitely things you can do on the weekends to really engage with them and make sure that you are keeping up with their development and everything. So I think I just had to do a lot of work and kind of talk myself through why this situation was the best for our family. But it definitely had moments where I just put a lot of mom shame on myself. The biggest challenge you faced since becoming a mom? There's a lot of things that I could say, but I think the biggest thing for me is patience, because I'm a very fast-paced, I have high expectations. It's very hard for me to expect something to go a certain way and to plan for it to go a certain way, and then it doesn't. And especially when I expect my son to react a certain way, or I ask him to do something and he doesn't, which he's 20 months old. I mean, obviously that's not realistic, but I just had to learn a lot about patience over the last 20 months and learn a lot about like my triggers and why I would get anxious or upset about certain things. And I don't really have an answer for like how I solved that problem, because it's still like a work in progress. But I think answering the next question might help a little bit with that. But that's definitely my biggest struggle, is just having patience and peace of mind when things aren't going your way and your child isn't acting the way that you expected them to. So the next question is the best bit of advice you've ever been given, or a piece of advice you'd give to a new mom. So someone once told me, think about the way your child's reacting from their perspective. So if a child is just having a full-on meltdown, crying on the floor, and something really simple happened, like they wanted to play with this ball and you told them they couldn't, they're acting like their world is ending and you're really frustrated and you're like, get up, we need to go to the store, or you know, we need to act like a civilized human being and you're frustrated. But from their perspective, they don't really understand the world yet. They're still learning. They're still learning how to go through their emotions and what emotions even mean. And they don't know that they're going to get that toy back later, or they don't know that they have 100 toys just like that in the other room. They're just thinking in that moment that they really wanted that and they're not getting it. And you have to talk them through what's going on. So for me, it really helps to explain the situation and to just kind of sympathize with them and say, you know, I know you're frustrated because you couldn't do this, this, and this. And when I think about it in that sense, and I really put myself in their shoes, and from their perspective, they don't have a lot of life experience, so they don't have a lot to go off of. They don't know what's happening. They're just going with whatever you tell them and whatever you do for them. They don't know what to expect or what's normal or what's going to happen next. So it's your job to make them feel more comfortable and to explain what's happening and to explain what they're feeling. So whenever he's just having trouble with something, I just think about it in terms of he is a small human who just doesn't know yet. And he's just trying to figure it out, and it's my job to help him. And that usually will bring back that anxiety and that stress and make me feel a little bit more patient because I'm just trying to help him. And then the last question is just, who do you tag to do the mom tag next? And so I had mentioned at the beginning of this video that I tag Carrie from Olsen's Life. So I will again put her channel in the description box below. You should definitely go check her out. I really have enjoyed watching her videos recently. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. I hope it helped you get to know me a little bit better. You do not need to be tagged to do this tag. If you want to answer these questions, I put them all below in the description box. So feel free to take them and make your own video. But if you are going to do this tag, comment down below and let me know that you're going to do it so I can go head over to your channel and watch it. I appreciate you guys being here. Please make sure to hit this subscribe button and like this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.